Hello, my name is Cecilia Norton, and I'm going to talk to you today about the dispositions, the professional dispositions of learners that I feel like I hold, and also the ones that I feel like I could work on. The first disposition that I possess is high expectations. Even though I teach students who sometimes are on a first grade level and in fourth grade, I do hold them to high expectations. I do expect them to come in and learn and work on their work, and because these students are expected to test on grade level, and so I do hold them to very high expectations. I set goals for them each year, and we work towards those goals, and by the end of the year, a lot of them have accomplished those goals, or most of their goals. Also, professional conduct is something that I possess. I feel like being on time to school, having good attendance, making sure that your attire is one that's appropriate for the classroom, and also for those growing boys that are around you. Having respect for students. Students are going to give back what they receive, and so if you're respectful towards them, they are most of the time respectful towards you. And also communicating with parents in a timely manner. I also feel like I possess curiosity. I like to ask higher order learning questions. I like for my students to think outside of the box. One example of that is the STEAM initiative that we have going on at our school. STEAM is science, technology, engineering, art, and math. And so we are incorporating STEAM into our classrooms. And I like to do some STEAM activities with my students. One of the things we've done recently was we read Tacky the Penguin, and then we created igloos for Tacky and his friends. So we just use different items in the classroom. So I like for them to have hands-on experiences as well as experiences in the books. Another one that I feel like I possess is honesty. If you can't be honest, you really don't have a whole lot going on in life. Just making sure that you're telling the truth, and being an example for other students, or for the students. Compassion. In my line of work, you have to have a lot of compassion. A lot of times these students come from broken homes, their grandparents are raising them. You have to be aware of those situations and hold compassion for those students that don't have the same kind of life or lifestyle that others might. Of course, advocacy in my line of work is very important. Being a special education teacher, I need to be an advocate for my students. That includes in the IEP, when we're putting goals forward, and just being an advocate for them as far as their work in the regular education classroom, making sure those teachers know what to expect from those students, know the different accommodations that those students must have. I need to be their advocate. And then the last one would be dedication, and I've done this job for 22 years in special education. I have 1 year I've taught third grade, but the rest of them they have been in special education, and the burnout rate with special education teachers is usually pretty high. So I think that I've shown a lot of dedication hanging in for 22 years. I really do love what I do. The dispositions that I feel like I kind of need to work on, respect for diversity, just because I am in a small group setting and my students' population is not as diverse as some others. So I'm hoping with pushing into some classes and mainstreaming with my students that I might be able to get to know a more diverse population. Then fairness, and it's not that I don't believe in being fair, but I feel so strongly for my students and for them getting a fair chance that sometimes I probably neglect other students, and I probably give preferential treatment to my students. So I do need to work on being fair with everyone. And then reflection. I need to seek feedback, but I also need to use that feedback to become a better teacher, to become a better person. I need to look at feedback as constructive criticism rather than just criticism. A lot of times I do struggle with that. As far as what a professional educator looks like, again, they should have a neat, clean appearance. They should be dressed and should be held to a standard of dress that is appropriate for the classroom and for being around those of the opposite sex. And how they behave, I think that a lot of cases lately of teachers misbehaving it's just become a sad situation in this world, that we have a lot of teachers that don't know how to behave. I think that when you're out in public, you need to display yourself in a professional manner, even in the way you dress out in public, just because you are an example for those students, whether you're in the classroom setting or out in the real world. Social media, I think a lot of teachers feel like they can post whatever they want to on their social media, and I just don't feel like that's right. I think you need to hold yourself to a higher standard on social media. And the standards that guide our thinking and our actions, well, I just think that we need to know that we need to do what is ethically right, and we need to have a higher moral compass than most people, because we do affect the students around us and even the parents around us. So I just think that we need to hold ourselves to a higher standard than most people do in other professions. And that is a wrap up of the professional dispositions that I feel like I hold and that I need to work on. And I thank you for your time.